Hey guys, welcome to Zup Collector 98, and today I'm here to show you everything I'm growing in the greenhouse and garden. So I'll start out with this. Alright, as we walk into the greenhouse, you'll see in the way back that I have my yellow coffee plant. Unfortunately, right now there appears to be some sort of pest that is developing on the stem right here. They're little domes almost. They're kind of brown right now, and there's a little bit of a mold on the leaf right there. But yeah, this specific pest forms these dome-shaped things that form on the stems and a little bit of the leaves, as you can see over there. This yellow coffee plant right here actually produces yellow coffee beans instead of the red coffee bean, which is actually the normal commercial variety that you'd find when you buy coffee from the store. In the back here I have a banana plant, and I did not prune off the leaves that die, which is normal. I think they are dying more than they should be, but there's some sort of pest that is growing on them. I think these are spider mites. I did spray this banana plant and this coffee just to make sure. I think the banana is doing better now because there's a green leaf that's popping out. Moving on, I have the strawberry guava. Produces a smaller size guava that's red and has hints of strawberries. I pruned it a little bit to keep it more uniform, and new shoots are coming out, which is awesome. And it is doing very well. Hopefully I can get it to flower this year. Here's another banana plant. This one appears to be doing a lot better than the last one I showed you. There is still these dead leaves that, they just kind of shrivel up and they hang on the stem here, which is still normal because, that happens. A banana plant has to grow taller in order to produce a fruit. In the back is the pineapple plant that I started from a pineapple, and it's taken root right now actually. And new growth is coming out of the top. It's very lush and green in the center there. Here's a baobab. It's an African tree that grows in the African deserts. And you'll notice that the trunk is actually a little bit fatter. That is where they store their water. And it's growing more than it has in the past years, which is awesome. Hopefully it can grow a lot bigger and that trunk gets a little bit fatter, because that'd be really cool. Here's another banana plant. New leaf coming out right there. When they come out at first, they're really wound up, and then they unwind as they start shooting out more. In the back here, I started these from seed. These are jackfruit seedlings. They don't appear to be doing too good. These the leaves here, they're yellowish and get these weird black spots on it. But it's weird because the leaves here, the new leaves, they always look nice green and tender. I think maybe it's the sunlight or something with the soil. Maybe the pH is off, or they're not getting enough nutrients, or there's too much salinity, or the chlorine in the water. I have no idea. If you guys have any suggestions, post it in the comment section. That'd be great, so I can bring these things back to their natural beauty. Another funny thing is, this is an odd-shaped leaf for the jackfruit. They're not supposed to look like this. It just developed abnormally. And the next one is doing that too. So I've also heard that actually if something is wrong with the growing conditions, they will show signs of the stress actually. They will grow abnormally like they shouldn't be. So obviously something is different. Right here, this is something I've never seen before. This is a pepper plant actually, a bell pepper. I don't know what kind of variety. It's either yellow or red, but it's in a little 4-inch pot right here, which is crazy that it's producing this pepper. It's the only one so far, but that it's able to support something like that in this little pot. I do have plans to transplant it into a bigger pot so that it can grow bigger and produce more fruit. Here are two varieties of cacti. I am not sure what exactly they are, but I can tell you that this one right here is a variety of the prickly pear. It doesn't produce the fruits, but it is a member of the same species. This one looks more like something you'd see in the desert that's growing actually. It's pretty cool. It's got 4 points on it. Here is the vanilla orchid. This one does not appear to be doing too well at all. I think it's actually dead. This one's still holding on. Here is a new shoot that's popping out though. With the humidity that has been increasing lately, this is growing very well. Back here we have the mammillaria cacti. I transplanted them into a new container and I removed all the little seedlings that they kind of, well, not seedlings, but they put out these little other pieces of growth. They're really small kind of baby cacti. You can take them and actually plant them in another pot and they'll take off. So I kind of remove them and I separate them and then they grow bigger again. And they had just recently flowered actually, and I'm waiting to see if they produce the little red berries that I had gotten last year. They taste pretty good. They're kind of similar to goji berries actually. Right here, these are two different types of ice cream bean. This one right here I grew from seedling, as well as this one right here. This one's a lot taller and it's more lush actually. Sometimes you don't know what you're gonna get with the seeds that you plant. But right here, this one I bought from a nursery. I actually had it mailed to me. There's something very special going on right now with this particular plant. If you look closely over here, what do you guys see? What is that thing right there? That is a bunch of flowers, flower buds. Those things are going to turn into flowers hopefully and produce me some ice cream beans. But wait, there's more. There's another one over here. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? It's loving the humidity in here right now. I'm actually sweating a lot, but I just love being in here looking at these plants. They're so cool. Just beautiful lush leaves. And I fertilized it too, so I'm sure that definitely gave it a nice boost. So there we have it. That is a huge ice cream bean tree for a pot, and I am surprised that it is flowering here in Wisconsin. In the back, that is another pineapple plant. I had gotten that from a nursery as well, and I had a pineapple growing on it, and I cut off the top, and that's what we have right there. That's a dwarf pineapple variety. I don't know what's going on. It should have fruited by now. The leaves at the bottom, they keep dying, and it's kind of holding on here, but nothing's really happening at all. I think I might have to transplant it into a bigger pot and give it some new soil. Maybe it'll take off and be willing to give me some pineapple. Moving on, here we have the passion fruit. There's quite a bit of new shoots forming right here. This one grew onto the, well, it didn't grow on, it grabbed onto the kind of like the structure here for the tomato plant. And because it's a vining plant, and these little things, they like to grab onto it and you just snap them off if you don't like it where it's going. But there are little flowers developing on here too. That's a flower. There's little ones up here. You can't see them yet, but I can. There's another one right there. It's hard to focus on my camera here. And there's another one down there. And actually there's one right there too. But the thing is that this thing is turning yellow, so I have a feeling that it's dead actually. I don't know what's going on. It's actually really humid in here and it should be doing fine, and I gave it fertilizer, maybe too much. I don't know if these things are really sensitive to excess amounts of fertilizer, but if you guys also have any suggestions on what I can do to get it to flower and actually support that new growth, post that in the comment section as well. Alright, in the lush garden right here we have many things growing. These are blackberry plants, and we didn't get as many flowers this year as last year. I think it's kind of an on and off season. There are a couple flowers, so we will get some, but not many, which is okay. That just means next year we'll get a ton of them. Over here I have a raspberry plant. It's like the golden variety, and it produces these wonderful raspberries. They're a lot sweeter actually than the red variety that you'd find in the store. They're a lot sweeter. If you guys aren't particularly fond of more tart things, try growing this thing. It really takes off pretty well too. We actually have a couple that like to start growing in the grass as well. Right over here, you'll see these rings forming this kind of pyramidal structure. They were strawberries at one time, but we had deer that came into our garden and they gnawed off pretty much everything and killed our crop for this year. So we're going to replant that next year. And this, it looks like it's just a bunch of grass. I know it is, but we've been getting a lot of rain lately too. But actually in there is a watermelon plant. There is a watermelon grown on the other side. I can show you that. It's pretty big right now. Here's a cucumber as well. Over here we have some tomato varieties. This one is actually really interesting. This is called the chocolate tomato. It produces tomatoes that are a little bit darker. They're brown, kind of like chocolate. And they don't taste like chocolate, but they're a little bit sweeter too. So, still waiting on that one, but they're getting there. Right here is the row of green beans. And here you will see 3 pepper plants. These are a lot bigger than the one growing in the pot inside the greenhouse, but I have 2 different varieties here. One is red and the other is yellow, so I have 2 of one and 1 of the other. And it's hard to kind of get in here, but there are quite a few growing on these guys. If you just kind of look around, you'll see them. There's some more. And oh, there you can see the watermelon growing in the background. That was the really big one I was talking to you guys about. So yeah, they're getting there. Hopefully they ripen pretty soon because I love bell peppers, especially when they're really fresh. But yeah, look how big that watermelon's gotten. Man, it's huge. And then there's a little itty bitty one kind of growing right there. That's about it right there for the watermelons. And here, these are ground cherries. And you can tell they're ground cherries because they form these little paper lanterns. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of tomatillos, but they kind of look like the same thing. They get this little papery husk. And when they're ready, they fall to the ground. And when they're on the ground, that means they're ripe and you can eat them. And inside there's a little yellowish golden berry. It's kind of sweet. It's hard to describe the flavor, but I can make a taste test video on that for you guys later on. So yeah, it's kind of an abnormally shaped one right there. That's weird. But they're getting there, pretty big, and they look kind of cool too. Alright, the last 2 things I'm going to show you guys for this video today are growing on the deck here. This one everyone should be familiar with because all of my viewers have pretty much been ranting on about this and they want to see a new update on the dragon fruit cacti. This is what it looks like. I just brought it out about 3 weeks ago, so it hasn't had a whole lot of sunshine yet. However, I can tell that it's definitely putting on new growth because there are new growth tips. If my camera can focus on it. Well, I'll show you something different then. Maybe. Well, that's a growth tip right there. Way at the bottom here. And there's another one. And if you keep making your way up, you'll see little ones forming at the very top. This one primarily has a bunch of them. There's 5 of them. Very hard to see. Might confuse them with little nubs from the roots. There we go. So 5 different shoots. Still waiting on this thing to flower. I hope it does. I don't know if it will this year, but it'd be really cool if it did. The fruit is awesome, it tastes great, and the flowers look so cool too. I haven't seen one in person except in Hawaii, but growing here, it hasn't happened yet. And lastly, I will show you guys something new. These are blueberry plants. They are meant for container growing only. So that is why they're a little bit smaller than normal blueberry bushes. They get a little bit bigger than this, but look at how many blueberries this thing has grown on it. For a container plant, you'd think that it wouldn't have so many fruits on it. But man, just look at this. That's so cool. That'd be a great picture opportunity right there. But I'm gonna pick 2 for myself right now. Look at how blue and vivid those things are. And they get this little whitish film on it. That means you know they're fresh. So I'm gonna eat them right now. Mmm. Lot sweeter too. Ooh, and they're warm. When they're warmer, they're always better. Just like strawberries. They're so much sweeter. That's probably because we don't apply pesticides to them, and actually we don't put any fertilizer on them either. Who knows what you guys are getting when you buy them from the store. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.